Hey guys, it's Becky with Design Bundles, and I'm here today to talk to you about layering adhesive vinyl. Now, we're kind of tackling a little bit of a large project today, large in terms of adhesive vinyl, but I just feel like go big or go home. No, I'm just kidding. Don't do that for you. You guys start with a small project if you haven't layered vinyl before, but if you have, hopefully we have some inspiration for you. So I'm here to share my tips and tricks along the way, and hopefully I'm able to instill some layering wisdom upon you. So, all right, let's go ahead and get started, and then we will recap at the end. All right, guys, so this is the design that I chose. We are going to use a clipboard, and this is just kind of in honor of back to school, but at the same time, this could just be somebody who enjoys math, or it could be a student, teacher, faculty. I mean, really, this is a very versatile design, so I really like it a lot. But one thing that's missing is I do not want this design to be one solid color. So what I want to do, I want to ungroup it so that way I can break it up into different color groups as I decide. So I'm going to go ahead, you're going to see me go one by one and fill in with different colors, and just know that you can choose any color that you want. I fill these in with the colors that I ultimately want to use in my project. That way I get a visual representation of what I'm going for, and then it also makes it easier when it's time to start cutting on the different color mats once we click over to make it. So all right, I'm going to go ahead and do that, and we will come back in and I'll show you guys about grouping them together and that sort of thing, okay? Before I forget, when you want to select more than one shape at a time, you just hold down your Shift key and click on the next shape with your mouse. Okay, so I think we're done filling in. Now you noticed I used a mixture of doing the shift and clicking on my shapes, and then also using my drag box, which is that little box right there. And I tried to group them in groups as I was going along. So for now, what I'm going to do is I want to select all of my green, and I'm going to choose attach. Let me see if I got it all. Nope. So when that happens, just hit undo. And evidently I did not group these together. So we will hit attach. Now let's see where we go. Nope. All right, let's undo that again. It's kind of a process, guys. It's not something right away. So what happens, sometimes you have these layers that overlap. You can hit arrange and send to back. And now if I try to click on that dot, I actually get the dot and not the other part of it. So I'm going to use this drag box all the way through the middle. Make sure I get my dot. So now if I attach them, I think I forgot this dot here. All right, let's see. All right, so that is all of my green. Now I don't want to move it out of the way just yet. Looks like I moved these by mistake. There we go. Let's put those back there. So let's start with the blue. I want to choose all my blue and attach. All right, now let's do red and attach. All right, I got all those. Now let's do yellow. And I chose primary colors just because this is like a back to school themed board, clipboard, so I think it'll work out good. All right, so this is just a test. I'm not ready to cut yet, but let's click over to make it and see what we got. Let's zoom out. There we go. All right, so it looks like everything is staying in place. Okay, so now let's go back. We still need to size this, and then I want to teach you about one more thing. So now our size for our cutting board, let's move that out of the way. The size for our cutting board is a 12 by 9. So we're going to make this 9 inches wide and 12 inches high. Now remember, with a cutting board, you are going to lose the top portion with your clip. So make sure you measure that out. I'm going to make sure I send that to back. And let's turn that to a less dominating color. So if I select all of these beautiful colors we selected here, I can size this to fit on the cutting board. So because my design isn't super tall, I don't have to worry about leaving room for the clip at the top. I just need to make sure that it is the right size width. So I'm pretty happy with that. Now let's pause. There are two things that you can do with this. You can cut it and put it on the top, which is what we're going to do. But some people also like to put adhesive vinyl on the back side of clear cutting boards. That way, they're not constantly getting rubbed up against for the vinyl. It is completely up to you. I like putting it on top better, but I just thought that you guys should know kind of what you're working with, because if you're going to put it on the bottom, then you would mirror your design. Okay, we're not putting it on the bottom, so we're not going to mirror it, but just putting that little plug in there for future reference. So now we can delete out the square. We don't actually need that. It was just for sizing. And click over to make it and cut our designs. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to head over to my Cricut. I'm going to cut all these and go ahead and get them weeded out, and then we will talk some more about layering this design, okay? All right, see you soon. All right, guys, so here we are. I did switch the colors up a little bit. Sorry about that, but these just matched my little girly heart. So what I want to do, unfortunately, you cannot see through this. Okay, which is what makes it a little bit harder than aligning HTV. All right, but what you can do is get a general idea of how things are going to go, and what you want to do is choose your largest design first. Okay, so for this, you can see that our pink is going to be the largest design. That'll make more sense in a moment. Oh, by the way, this is our clear clipboard here. I went ahead and got it ready. And I really like using my, my mat here to help with alignment. So if you do not have one of these self-healing cutting mats, I do really like it. And I usually recommend them for most crafters because it protects your work area, and it also has the nifty grid to help you measure. So what I'm going to do, now this transfer tape is one that I really like. It is Oratape MT80P. And the only reason I bring it up is because while you can do this with any type of transfer tape, this transfer tape in particular has a thin paper backing. Once I get this started in a moment, you'll see what I'm talking about. There we go. And this is important for our project today, because this is what's going to help us line up our designs. Okay, so you can see that you can actually see through the backing. Well, this is my transfer tape. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I want to go ahead and pick up this design, and we are going to layer onto the transfer tape, not onto the clipboard. All right, so let that sink in. We're going to layer onto the transfer tape and not onto the clipboard. Now we will eventually make it to the clipboard, but just not right away. I'm going to grab a squeegee real quick. There we go. Give it a good little burnishing. As long as I had my cut settings correctly, this should come up pretty easy. Well, I don't think I burnished all the way down there. So I still cut just a little bit deep. I had a new blade. There we go. Okay, this is our design. What I want to do is take this paper backing and toss it to the side. Okay, now I can take this. Now let's talk about this. You have a paper side and a glossy side. You want the glossy side, not the side that's printed on. Okay, you do not want that. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to align my design over here to the side, and you see that I have all this transfer tape left. All right, that'll make sense. Next, let's go ahead and line up the yellow. So what I can do is I can line up the yellow because I can see it through the backing here, and I also have the design pulled up on my computer, so that definitely helps. So I know that my L on skills and my S, let me see, not the L, the K, there we go. So I'm going to line those up. make sure, let's see this. Okay, so now when I smooth this transfer tape back down, okay, now be careful when you do this, and let me show you why. When you just want to pull that out right there, but let's slide it back underneath, because otherwise when we smooth this down, this vinyl would stick to my mat. So we're just kind of playing like a little swapperoo game, right? So we want to pick up the yellow. Okay, and then we can toss this right out the window. Now we can, any other color is fine. We're going to grab our green. Okay, we'll layer this. Let's see, for the green, let's put it on this side. I only say that because that's what side we're going to match up. Let's see, so my one fits there. I have my dot here on either side. All right, so I think we're good. So see, I still have a little bit of transfer tape here. Peel up my existing design. Now, you also want to be careful. You want to make sure that you don't move the piece underneath. All right, so slide that backing out of the way. Go ahead and put it under if we need to. I think we need it a little bit on the top and the bottom. So I'm going to hold all the way over here. Okay, now smooth it back into place. If you have a lot of problems doing this, you can also use a little bit of tape to help secure it. So as I put this down, I want to be aware that my yellow, okay, so I do not want to smooth that down in place. Okay, there we go. So let's slide this over. All right, now let's burnish it. So the name of the game, if you haven't noticed, is using this sheet in between to just serve as a layer. I'm not going to say it's ideal for all situations. If this was a smaller design, you could actually have a larger piece of transfer tape that you could secure over here on the side. So it would be a little easier. So if this is your first time layering, I do recommend starting off with a small design. All right, so we have our last color, purple. I chose the purple instead of the blue. Now this is probably the most important one, just because you have several parts that are meant to line up. All right, so let's show you the tape in action. I probably should have just broke this out to begin with. There we go. So we can secure the tape. And now this can be any surface, you know. It's convenient that I have my mat here, but I could easily use this on a table. And I can also take a little bit of tape. Now these pieces of tape will be reusable. Okay, so if this isn't working for you, then break out the tape and then we'll get everything lined up. Try to put the tape in places that you won't have any vinyl going down. Okay, so I've secured the bottom layer and I've secured my transfer tape. So that should make this a little easier. Pull this back right there, out of the way, and then because we have the tape securing it in place, we have a little bit of wiggle room. We can slide that underneath if we need to. I think we're okay on the bottom, but we probably need to do it on the top. Slide that over there, make sure that it ends up in place. Oh, so I was wrong. Actually, the top didn't even need it. There we go. All right, so as long as I do not burnish that, it's not going to stick to my mat. So I just want to burnish over the purple. Get it nice and adhered. Let's see how we did. Okay, now we can remove the tape. And we can also remove this backing. All right, so we can save that tape for later just in case we need it. I don't think we do. Now, once again, this is the theme for the day. We're going to line this up on the backing. I'm going to hang some transfer tape off the side here. Now, slide the clipboard over. I'm still going to center the clipboard on my grid because that is going to help. It's not going to hurt. And then I want to try to get my design as centered as possible. All right, so when you think you're ready, smooth your transfer tape down. Do the same thing we've been doing all evening with this project. And slide this out. Lay it right back down into place. We can burnish it. I usually try to smooth everything down with my hands first. Just seems a little bit more natural. And then I should just be able to peel it off. Adhesive vinyl always adheres really well to acrylic. And there we go. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is our clipboard. So, what did you think of our layering project? I'll admit it wasn't the easiest layering project I've ever done, but I mean, can you imagine how much harder it would have been if I hadn't have been using the transfer tape that I was with the backing to be able to line them up? Some people talk about using registration boxes or this or that, but I tell you, I just find this to be the easiest way for me, and 9 times out of 10, I just have a lot of really good success with it. So hopefully we've inspired you guys to tackle a layering project. I do recommend starting out with something a little smaller than a clipboard, but overall our project turned out really well. And of course, if you have any questions or comments along the way, please make sure that you leave those in the comments below. We do always come back and check in with you guys. And of course, don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we have a lot of great videos for you right around the corner. So thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it, and we will see you next time.